Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of Thoughts and Divine Wisdom. Yes, I shaved. I was in hermit mode for too long, so I had to flip it up. Anyways, I'm sitting here and I'm debating should I should I make this video, but something tells me yes, I should make this video. And the video is going to be about something very serious that we grew up with, and that is, you know, good or God versus Satan, or good versus evil. Okay? Growing up, we were always taught that Satan is the enemy of God, and God doesn't like Satan, and they fight and war every day. And we learned these lessons in, Bible, Sunday school, in church, and for years we grew up learning these things. Okay, we never thought to really think about what it actually meant when they told us these things. And throughout the most of our lives, the things that we heard growing up had us fearful of certain things, like going to hell and burning and all these different things, because of the battle of Satan versus God, God versus Satan, good versus evil. So we grew up thinking, man, I don't want to go to hell. I ain't going there. So we always thought that this war was something that was going on infinitely between the two sides, forever, fighting each other. Okay? Well, here's the truth that we never knew. And here's the truth that the church or religion doesn't tell you. Okay? The truth is good, well, this is first thing. First thing is good and evil, light and dark. Those things are two sides of the same coin. Good and evil are two sides of the same coin. They're connected to each other purposefully. Light, dark, good, evil, up, down. They're all connected together. They're two sides of the same coin. How? When you find the divine truth to learn things such as these, instead of being fearful like we once grew up to do, you must break those things down to understand what those things are. Righteousness is light. Righteousness is good. Righteousness is a lack of negativity. Righteousness is a lack of the world. It's wholefulness, righteousness in general, from the standpoint of what it is. It doesn't have anything to do with the world. It has something to do from within. Evil, the lack of understanding, a lack of love, a lack of compassion. You see? When you break them down, and you break them down to the molecule on what they are, you quickly realize that The two sides lack something or another. Light, devoid of darkness. Darkness is simply darkness is simply the devoid of light. But throughout history, we have labeled darkness as evil. I don't want to be in there. Light is good. Oh, this is where I want to stay at and everything. No. The truth is you need both of them in order to live, in order to grow. Good is the thing that you appreciate after going through the hardship. Good is the thing that you appreciate after the hardship. Could you imagine without the balance being there of good and evil, or good and bad? How would you appreciate anything in this world? If everything was positive, if everything was good, everything was beautiful, everything was the fruits of the Spirit: love, happiness, peace, joy, steadfastness, right? How would you be able to appreciate anything if you never go through anything? This is the question that you have to ask yourself. So in order to appreciate the good, you must accept the bad. Because you can't appreciate the good if you don't accept the bad. The bad may be bad, and we don't want to associate ourselves with it. But the reality is, you need the bad in order to grow. You need the bad in order to grow. And what God was saying about being in the furnace, you need the negative in order to become the diamond, which is the furnace. The fire is the negativity and the life situations and everything else that you live in. You need that in order to grow into the diamond that you're supposed to be. It just doesn't happen in all good and oh yeah, you'll never appreciate nothing. You'll never appreciate the walk in life. You'll never appreciate what you've been through because you haven't been through anything. You would never appreciate joy because you just always live in joy. You would never appreciate love because you always in love. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's always here. So you would go around like, oh yeah, I know about that. That's how you would be. Okay. But I digress. So these things are two sides of the same coin, and you need these things in order to grow. This is why your grandmother and your mother, or some of your mothers, say, son or daughter, appreciate the hard times. And you never understood it. You never understood what they're talking about, because nobody wants to be with hard times. But as you become wiser, you quickly realize what they mean. As you mature, get older, and wiser in the spirit, you realize, okay, that is, I appreciate that. That's why some people come back to their parents and say, thank you for disciplining me. Thank you for the discipline. When they got their butt tore up back in the day, you come back later like, Lord, thank you. Thank you for disciplining me back then. Because the disciplining made you appreciate where you're going as you get older. And then when you get to that point when you have your own kids, you look back, oh man, I'm so glad my mom taught me this. I'm so glad she disciplined me with this. And then the time comes when you talking to your mom or your parents or whatever like that, your dad, you like, thank you so much for beating my butt. You see? But those things need each other. The balance there, everything has a balance. Those things need each other. So with that being said, let's move to the next thing. So those things are needed. But going back to the war of God versus Satan. First of all, like I said, both sides need each other in order to both sides are needed in order to make the soul grow. Not just one or the other. Both sides are needed to make the soul grow. But here's the thing that people don't realize. Here's another thing that people don't realize. And here's the secret. And if you're not ready for this secret, then let this go over your head, because you may not be ready. You may not understand what I'm saying. Okay? The war versus God and Satan, there is one. There isn't one. I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to repeat that for you now. The war versus God and Satan, or the divine spirit and Satan, there isn't one. There is not one. Why, you might ask? I say that because Satan, the devil, is not arch enemies with God. In fact, he works for him. Let me repeat it again. He works for God. The devil was anointed with his position. This is why he is powerful. He didn't anoint himself. God anointed him to that position. God anointed him to that position. That's right. Satan's boss is God. Satan's boss is God. Why? It leads to the number 3. And I'm going to go back to number 2 here in a second, because I'm going to show you why he works for God. And number 3, the reason why is because this life that we live, the life that you're going through, this life, the life of the next man, the life of your family, the life of the man walking across the street, the life of everybody that you see, even children, it's all a test. This whole life that you see is a test. And some people is making it because they're on a path of understanding, and some people is straight up missing the buck. How? Because they are focused on themselves, they focus on what they can get, they focus on the world, they focus on material possessions, they focus on status, they focus on image, they focus on shallowness, they focus on everything else except the divine mission. And every person has a divine mission. And this is why people say we get reincarnated. And this is your like 4th, 5th time here. Because the people who is wallowing in the world and wallowing in the selfishness and all that, they have to come back here until they pass their divine task, their divine mission. Every man has a divine mission that he must fulfill when he is here on earth. And most people don't even see that. And what you see today is exactly what you get. And so they don't, and because they don't understand their divine mission, and that each man has his own path, right? They look at the man who is successful in his path, whether it's his actual divine path or it's his worldly path. Why he got that? How Bill Gates get billions of dollars? How did Elon Musk get $500 billion? How did Michael Jordan get this talent to where he was like that? How did Barry Sanders get this talent so he was like that? How did Jay-Z get all this talent so he could do what he do? They're always looking at the next man's path. And this is where hate, envy, jealousy, greed come in to some people. Instead of them aspiring to figure out what their path is, instead, because they don't understand themselves, they become to hate. And this equation equates to it all. Innocence plus naivete equals ignorance. I say it again. Innocence plus being naive equals ignorance. Now you see this mostly with kids because they really don't know better. But you have some adults out there who don't understand themselves to the point where they show their ignorance in the daily lives of the things they do. Because the truth is, not everybody's not on the same level. We saw that in school. Not everybody's on the same level. And this is why you may know something, you know how to do something, whereas this person over here, he knows how to do it a little bit, but when he looks at you, he's like, why does he know how to do that? And because he doesn't take the steps in order to learn for himself from the standpoint at least trying to get better, he may not be as good as you, but at least he knows something. At least he knows something. At least he knows what he needs to know to do what he needs to do. Instead, what he does is he forms animosity of the heart. He forms hate. He forms jealousy. And this is why back in the day, or this is why you see people hating on people for no reason. And you didn't do anything to them. You didn't say nothing to them. You didn't do anything to them. You're just doing what you're supposed to do. But because you know this thing way better than them, instead of them trying to understand themselves in order to understand what they need to understand, what they end up doing is hating on you. And now they're saying snide things to you. Always trying to make jokes at you or whatever, all because of their hate. Now, this person wants to fight you for no reason at all. And you're like, what happened? Like, why are you like this? You're like, why are you like this? And you don't even understand why. You don't even understand why. People hate, and this not just go on a certain task, but people can feel this way about how you look. People can feel this way about how you dress. People can feel this way about how your hair is. And they become jealous and hate you for no reason. And every time you talk to them, they have so much victory on their heart. And you're like, where is all this coming from? And you're lost. You're standing there speechless, like, what is all this for? Like, what happened? It's all because they can't be or do something that they're not. They can't be or do something that you are. So they end up forming disgust and agitation and hate in their heart, because since I can't be what he is, I'm going to hate on him. But so that's how. So you need those things to do that. Now, going back to what I was saying before about Satan works for God. Okay, there's a thing in the Bible called precepts. And precepts in the Bible basically is there's certain parts of the Bible that connect to other parts of the Bible. And in divine wisdom, there's certain parts of the Bible that connect to other parts of the Bible to give you understanding. Okay? I think the verse was like line upon line, precept upon precept. Okay? So, sorry, laying down. So, so basically, there are precepts in the Bible that people overlook in their religion that shows them that Satan is controlled by God. I'm being honest. Satan works for God. First one, Job, the second chapter, or first or second chapter actually. When God talks to Job, and like I said, I'm not like my grandma where she know every verse of every line and every. I was never like that. I just know where I need to go. When Job, in the book of Job, chapter 2, when God was talking to Satan, when he was in heaven in front of the sons of men, God spotted Satan, and he asked Satan, "For where hast thou come? Where that came?" Oh, and Satan said, "Oh, to and fro from one place to the next." Now, to most people, when they hear that, that's just the beginning of a story about Job, right? That's the beginning of a story about Job it's going to be constructed for Job, the son of man. But when you look deeper, it shows something. It shows that Satan, first of all, if Satan was the arch enemy of God, why in the hell is he in heaven walking around to and fro and God talking to him like he is his employee? He is talking to Satan like he is his employee. Have you tested my son Job? Oh, I can't touch Job because look at the hedges around him. He's protected and got all these hedges. He's blessed and can't nobody touch him. Wait a minute, hold on, Satan. You the arch enemy of God. What do you mean you can't touch him? Shouldn't you be doing everything in your power to fight against the good? No, he can't. Because his boss is God. Only way he can attack Job is by getting permission. That's the only way he could attack Job. Sounds like an employee to me. Next precept. Isaiah, the 45th chapter, verse 7. And I'm paraphrasing. It says, I control good. No, he said that I control the light. I control peace, and I control wars. I control light, and I control darkness. Then, this is the pivotal part. I'll repeat the verse again. It's Isaiah, the 45th chapter, verse 7. I control light, and I control darkness. What did he say next? I create good, and I create evil. You didn't see that in your Bible because your preacher glazed over that. Your preacher won't talk about that because it's going to put him in a conniption to try to explain that verse to everybody else. God said that he create good and he also create evil. Listen to that verse for a second. Wait a minute, I thought Satan was the one who created all the evil. What? Nah. Satan is just an employee. God controlled both sides. He created. Why? What I talked about before. For the growth of man. For the things you do in your life, whether it's good or bad, is to help you grow. For the things you experience, like drug addiction and all those things are to help you grow. No matter how hard it is to get out, it's to help you grow. It's to help you grow. Even murder. The act of murder is to help you grow. That's why he created it. For each man to learn the lesson. And even if you fall short, one, there's the grace of Jesus that he gave you grace. So if you fall short and you truly show remorse in your heart, you will be forgiven because you bound by grace. Oh, that's right. You bound by grace. And it gives you a chance to learn the lesson that you did wrong. What did God say? He said, if it was up to me, I wish none to perish. That's what the Bible said. And that's exactly what he's doing. That's why his forgiveness is the way that it is. That's why he gave the ultimate sacrifice, his son, to give grace. That's why he gave that. He gave that. So that you have a second chance to redeem yourself. Over and over and over and over and over again. So you have redemption. You just gotta stay, like each time, you gotta find the redemption. You find the redemption, then you shall find salvation. So that's number 2. Next verse. Revelations chapter 20. Verse 1, I believe, verse 1 through 9. When God talks about when the angels came down to tie up the dragon, which was Satan, it said that they tied him up for a time. Then to release him for a short while to test the hearts of man. What do you think he's doing right now? This verse right here blatantly tells you that this thing called life is a test. It is a test. And the choice, which is free will, that you use in order to do this test is on you, whether you go good or bad. The good news is because Christ died by grace, you get as many chances as the time permits But if you're wondering why you keep coming here in different lives to do the test, it's because you haven't passed the test. And instead of throwing you in the lake of fire because you failed the test so many times, he keeps allowing you to come down here over and over and over again to pass the test. Right. Satan works for God. Satan works for God. To what? To do the test of life. To play the manager of the opposing side for the test of life. That's right. So if you're trying to figure all this out, if you're trying to figure out what side you on and all that, this is the divine truth. This is the divine truth. Real talk. So, but yeah, a lot of people don't know that. And that's a secret that I keep to my bosom because a lot of people won't understand that. And if you're a babe in Christ, then this video is not for you because you ain't ready yet to understand none of this. You're not ready yet to understand this. You need to focus on the basic level, which is understanding who God is and what he did and stuff, and then go through the trials and tribulations of that first before you get on this advanced understanding of what I'm talking about. But only the people of advanced wisdom and advanced truth and advanced righteousness is going to understand this video here. Real talk. So on that note, I thank you. Another video wrapped up and done. Again, I would like to start this channel answering problems, and maybe I can help people, and maybe I can help with my divine wisdom. Maybe I can help somebody, because that's what this life is about, trying to help people and trying to lead the way to the blind. Not physically blind, but spiritual blind. So if you have any questions, or if you would like to send an email with your problem of any sort, please send it to thoughts and spell it out, and it's spelled out, thoughts and divine wisdom at gmail.com. Like I said, new channel, we getting this thing cracking, and we're gonna keep doing this thing. But I'm here to tell the divine truth. I'm here to get you guys to understand what the truth is. I am here to break the shackles off of your spirit because of what religion told you, because of what you were taught since you were a kid, and the false fears that it created along the way, which leads some people hating God, period, because they don't want to deal with that hellfire and damnation. Or they live an alternative lifestyle, so they just run with the punks and color up their hair and put tattoos all over their face because they're like, well, I don't want to be a part of that. When none of that's the truth. None of what these religions taught you, none of what these religions is teaching you is the full truth. They're teaching you half-truths to make money. Well, I'm here to give you the divine truth. I'm here to tell you the way. I'm here to tell you what you need to know in order to make it. I'm here telling you what the truth is. So send your emails, divine thoughts and thoughts and divine wisdom. Sorry, I messed up. Thoughts and divine wisdom at gmail.com. And I look forward to hearing from you guys soon. Until then, I'm out.